All right, all right. It's a Wednesday night.
Hey.
Hump day.
Humpty Humpty.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
Do the Humpty
He had a great fall.
These intros are so slow paced and weird.
Well, that's all right, because, like, the piano is slow paced and weird as well.
Yeah. Like, alright. It gives
I
you
don't know.
space to think, you
Yeah.
know? I like it. You remember the Humpty Hump?
The Humpty Hump.
Wasn't that like an 80s rap that also had a dance move, the Humpty Hump?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't remember
Do
it.
the Humpty Hump. Alright, roll
I don't
the
know.
intro music. Cool. I call that what I played organ or don't organ. That's the question. By Ryan Parmenter. What were you playing?
I was playing Organ or Don't Organ, but I was playing the Steven cover.
Oh, yeah. He was playing it on Steven's djembe. Alright, so today's Winnie Wednesday, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have anything about Winnie Wednesday?
Do I ever?
No, well, nope.
We'll come up with something.
Winnie. Opposite of
What-
Lucy.
What did you think about that? Did you ever see that weird, like, trip sequence where there were, like, heffalumps turning into hot air balloons with, like, jars of honey as the basket? And,
That
like, Winnie
was
the
ringing
Pooh
a
was,
bell.
like, tumbling through the air.
Yeah, I can't think of anything in specific, but that vibe
Yeah.
is definitely clicking with me.
I feel like that really, like, set the tone for the rest of my life.
That dream
Yeah.
sequence thing.
I feel like Pooh in that scenario is kind of how I feel a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe not a lot of the time, but like, or not, well, a lot of the time, but not,
Bless
damn.
you.
Not how Pooh felt, but maybe just how I, like, was when I was watching that. Because I wasn't really scared of that.
No, I feel
But-
like
I
There
was
were-
confused and
yeah.
slightly intrigued at the same time.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of cartoons from that era were kind of trippy and
Yeah.
confusing. Like a Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, I was kind of scared of that show, I'll be honest. Like, there was just parts of it I was like, whoa, not for me.
Yeah. I think
But-
it's kind of just like how, like, well, I don't know about which era it was or anything, but
yeah,
like
it's probably
maybe
not the same era.
at the
those two.
beginning of like animation, things were kind of confusing just because people were trying to figure out the technology
Yeah.
and like using it to like make their wildest imagination whatever they imagined, because now they can maybe
It's
just
crazy.
kind of like how like Jimi Hendrix with like the electric guitar. Like once there was like the electric guitar, he could do whatever crazy sound he thought of he could make somehow.
That's crazy. Yeah. Have you seen like Toy Story 1 recently?
Not recently.
Yeah, it's creepy to watch.
Oh, really?
Like,
'Cause
the animation is just like so different, and like especially the humans. Like the toys
really?
look fine, but like the human animations, I think it's right in that uncanny valley.
oh, the uncanny valley.
Yeah, and it's just like it's maybe not as uncanny as it gets, but it's still pretty weird.
Were you ever kind of creeped out by the Muppets?
There was a couple that creeped me out. Like the big one that was just like a dude in a furry suit that ran around. You know what I'm talking about?
Could be any of them.
Well, I can't remember. I feel like he maybe was friends with Gonzo or something like that.
Oh, Gonzo? Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know the name.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like a crappy version of Chewbacca.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't like him.
I had a theory that I mentioned to another friend like a few weeks ago. Because we were talking about how the Muppets kind of creeped us out as kids.
Mm.
And I thought it kind of had something to do with the Uncanny Valley. Or something like the Uncanny Valley. Where when we're like at the age where we're like we first see the Muppets. Or maybe like, I don't know, how old were you when you think you started watching like Sesame Street and
Pretty young. Sesame
Pretty
Street
young.
was young.
Yeah, because
Like 3 or 4 probably.
I was probably around the same age. And like anything else, it was either like animation like Dora or like I don't know, something else animated. And like maybe like The Bug's Life and Dora and like all the movies and TV was usually like straight up animation. And then like anything else in real life is just like real life.
Mm.
And then I think like the Muppets is like the first time you kind of see them blended together.
Mm.
Like you see like these weird like anthropomorphic beings that aren't human.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
they're like their actions are even like really flamboyant and they're not like they're not like completely fluid, but they're like Elmo's arms are they don't have joints, and Grover can like open his mouth like at a 180 degree angle.
That is pretty creepy.
Yeah. And they're interacting with people in the real world, and
it's
just
like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing to see when you don't really understand reality.
Dang. That's deep. I've been watching this show where one of the characters is like, deep.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know.
What show was that?
I mentioned it last time, Big Mouth.
Right when you were talking about that, I'm like, it's going to be the same show you mentioned, but I don't remember what that show was.
No.
But
that show is
Big
crazy,
Mouth.
but we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, that was Winnie Wednesday. Hey, guess what?
What?
I think that water is wet.
Oh, you do now.
I do. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know how to disagree.
People that have disagreed with me have said water is something that makes things wet.
Yeah, I was going to
But it's
say
not itself
that.
wet.
But, like, how would it make something wet if it wasn't wet?
See, that's my point. I think this is how I've defined it. Water, something that's wet is anything that is in contact with, like, a liquid. You know?
Yeah.
So water, by very nature, is in contact with itself. So it's wet. And milk. And whatever.
Yeah. So milk is wet.
Milk is wet.
Soda's wet.
Any liquid is wet. Or anything that touches liquid.
Are we wet? Because we're 70%
Sometimes.
water.
Oh. Yeah. Parts of us.
Wow.
You know, I think the outside is wet sometimes. The inside is wet most of the time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be good. It's weird. I used to think that just like blood was everywhere inside.
Oh, yeah. I used
You
to
know?
think, like, when you eat food, it would, like, go all the way to your feet. And then, like, you'd have to, like, keep eating until, like...
Got to your butthole?
I don't know. Yeah. And then, like, once it gets there, you poop.
Yeah. I thought, like, it would go down one leg first, and then into the other
really?
leg. Like, there was a primary food leg.
Wow. That's interesting. Because, like, I would just think it would, like, even out somehow. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah. Like, I also knew I had a stomach, but I also...
Yeah, same. Like, it didn't mean anything to me. Yeah. It's just something I had.
Yeah. That's weird.
I think I do that with a lot of information. It's just, like, I know, but, like, I don't really take it into consideration when I try to think about anything.
Yeah.
I don't really have a specific example right now.
Yeah,
it's just kind of a trend.
It's like you know something, but when you're trying to think about something that involves something you know, you're not thinking about what you know. You're thinking about the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That was hard to follow, but
it's like in school when like you learn like 1 year like where to put a comma, and then like next year you're moving on to like how to cite a source or something, and then like you're trying to cite the source. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, why didn't you put this comma there? That's what grammar would indicate. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
I still get messed up with commas.
That's like 5th grade right there.
Like, commas are hard because I always feel like people put too many commas in their stuff, but I don't want to put too few. So I don't know what's going on. I also get really tripped up with letters.
Letters.
Like double letters specifically. Like if there's a word that I know has a double letter, I'll be like, which one of these letters is doubled? Or is it both of the letters that are doubled?
Like vacuum, doesn't that have like...
Has 2 C's.
2 C's and 2 U's, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 1 C and 2 U's?
Exactly. Why use 2 letters when one will do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's another thing. I used to think Adam made up every word. Like from the Bible, you know?
Oh, yeah, because like he like named the animals.
Yeah, and I just thought that applied to every single word. Like, cantaloupe. That's a weird word, Adam.
Yeah, that's
why
like,
would you think of cantaloupe?
Like one of those things where you knew something. Like you knew TV wasn't invented until after Adam died.
Yeah.
But you still thought he came up with the word for it.
He just had a bunch of like unused words.
Yeah.
It was like, use this when I'm dead for the next thing that comes up.
Yeah, just like a waiting list.
Yeah.
You had to think of that too, like,
man.
Right here is a list. That's what it's called.
And he still had time for his wife and kids. And,
yeah.
Well, probably. He didn't seem like a very good father, I'm going to be honest.
Well, I don't know anything about his...
One of his sons killed the other son. Famously.
Well, I know that, but like I could like kill my brother, and like it's not because my dad didn't have time to like prevent it.
Maybe
it's just that we're like out of his.
Maybe
he trusts us now to behave.
I guess you're taking the side of nature versus nurture, whereas I guess on this I was falling.
Oh, like if Cain was raised right.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been a murderer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cain is a weird word.
It is.
Cool. But let's get back to water being wet.
What if Cain was named? Like, you know how in, like, sitcoms, like, they'll, like, have to think of, like, a fake name. It'll be like, my name is... And they'll, like, see a jacket.
Yeah.
Jackie. Like, what if Cain... Like, there was, like, Canes for old people. Ooh. And then it's like, what's your name, boy? Cain?
Man, I think one of the funniest examples of that is Ben... Remember Ben Schwartz? You know Ben Schwartz? He was Jean-Ralphio in Parks and Rec. He was in a couple episodes of Jake and Amir, the college humor series.
Oh.
And he every time he like introduced himself, It was like the same character, but he would make up a name on the spot.
Oh, wow.
And it would be like, my name is Sulu Carrots. Or something.
Sulu Carrots.
Or something like that. And that was funny every time. Just a weird name. Sulu Carrots. Man.
So wet water.
Wet water. Is water wet? Like a whetstone. Do you know whetstone?
I don't know whetstone.
A whetstone is what you use to like sharpen a sword.
Oh,
It's spelled
wow.
W-H-E-T. And you kind of get it wet, and then you just rub it on the sword like swing, swing, swing. And then your sword is sharp enough to cut something.
Wow.
Do you have a sword?
I don't have a sword. Or a sword, I mean.
My roommate Micah has a sword.
Wow.
Except he's not my roommate. He lives in England. But
Oh.
this is his house that I'm living in, and he lived here. Well, I guess he was my roommate for like 2 weeks before he moved to England. And all his stuff is still here. Or at least half of it seems like. And part of that half is a sword.
Wow.
Yeah. So, water's wet. I think we've covered that. I think I made a pretty strong case.
Yeah.
Here's the flip side, though. Is fire dry?
Is fire dry?
Yeah. I that seems harder for me to
Sure.
get behind.
Why?
Because it's not a substance, it seems like. You know? It's not something you can touch. It's not tangible. Well, like, is it,
Yeah,
though?
I
You
kinda
can
get what
feel
you
it,
mean.
but like
when you try to like grab fire, it'll just like
yeah,
go like around you, kind of.
yeah, and then it'll burn you. But like it seems like the heat coming off the fire is what's burning
Yeah.
you.
It's like kind of the same thing as water. Like you can't like grab water, I guess. Well, I guess you can have water in a cup.
Yeah, you can't have fire in a cup.
Yeah. Well, you can like contain fire in like a container though.
Not fire itself. You need the
Yeah,
fuel and
that's
the
right.
oxygen also. Fire's weird, man. I think
Yeah.
we talked about this last season on the podcast, where I talked about how fire is magic.
Yeah, I think so. We did.
Yeah, fire is magic.
I can get behind that.
I think in some, I was talking about this where like magic is just like something science has explained away, but like, you know, science has come up. And then I was like watching some show and they were saying magic is something science just hasn't figured out yet. And so like, that's kind of what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? But that's a story for another day. And that day was about 2 years ago. Or was it over 2 years ago? 2.5, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a while.
All right.
I just like it's so this water wet fire dry thing
Yeah.
is just it's so hard to even articulate.
It's
Any
very
thoughts?
abstract.
Yeah.
Here's something tangentially related. One time my friend Justin was trying to convince me that slushies are solid. What do you say to that?
I just like I kind of want to just say it's like really wet things of solid ice. Like
Yeah.
little tiny ass things of solid ice
Yeah.
that are all wet together in a cup.
Ice. Yeah. That makes me think of how young people say ice and mean diamonds. Have you heard
What?
of this?
No.
Have you not heard of this?
No.
Like, I got ice on my wrist, talking about a Rolex with diamonds on it.
Oh my god.
Have you? This has been a thing for a while now.
Well, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, like, I'm icing out. Like, I got bling on. I'm icy.
Interesting.
Yeah, feel free to share that with your dad.
I might.
I bet he'd love it.
But my sister's already done it, though.
Yeah, probably. You got 2 sisters.
Yeah.
What are their names again? I forget.
Kira and Kaylin.
Kaylin and Kira. Is Kira... She's in high school still.
Kaylin's in high school.
Kaylin's in high school.
Kira's in 3rd grade, I think.
Oh, man. Okay, I got them confused. Cool. I have a sister, and I'm going to go see her on Friday.
Wow.
And I'm super excited.
What's she up to nowadays?
She lives in California, and she's a youth pastor. So I'm going to go out there and go see my youth pastor sister. What do you think about the joke? For example, youth pastor, I hardly know her.
I kind of like
Her
that.
sister.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Hmm.
Like, locker, I hardly know her. Ruler, I hardly know her. I don't know, I just try to, like, work it in whenever I hear
Yeah, sometimes I take it and, like, instead of making it funny or, like, as a joke, I'll be like, ruler, I hardly ruler. Which is so dumb.
The audience for that is so narrow.
Yeah, it's a really dumb joke. Paper, I hardly paper. Oh, man. I'm stupid.
I don't know about that.
Well, that makes you stupid. Just kidding. You're not stupid. You're a smart man. And that's all I have to say about that. So, I'm going to get back on to the slushy thing. Because it kind of irked me. It was irksome. He was fully convinced and felt like he was all correct.
Oh, man. I don't care what you think, but if you're like that, then
yeah, I
just immediately want to take the other side.
Yeah, he was like, are you kidding me? Slushy is inherently just crushed ice. How can it, and ice is solid, how can it not be solid?
But you need like a water component. The ice needs to be wet.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And ice is immediately wet once it's out of like freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
So there's that, and there's also syrup. And it was
right.
Then he would be like,
that's what it is.
He would be like, well, what if it's frozen syrup?
Well, it's not a slushy then.
Yeah, and he was saying, so a slushy in a freezer that has syrup in it, and it's all just small, minuscule cubes of frozen water and syrup. That's what a slushy is.
Oh my god.
And that's how he justified being correct. Yeah, screw you, Justin. Just kidding, Justin. I love you. Thank you for inviting me to be in your wedding party. I'm in his wedding party.
That is kind of interesting how, like, a slushy, when you freeze it, like, actually, like, changes what it is. Like, water is, like, it's water.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's ice.
Yeah.
But, like, with anything else, well, like, with a slushy, it's the same thing. But, like, you can freeze a banana, and it, like, doesn't change from, like, solid to something else in the same way, like, a slushy or water does.
That's true. I wonder, like, what could you freeze, like, something mushy, and it would be different? Like a wet sponge?
Freeze a wet sponge? Yeah, I think it'd just be, like,
is it still
a hard sponge?
Hard sponge?
Maybe with a little ice layer on it. I don't know.
Sponge. Esponja. Sometimes I like to practice Spanish by, like, trying to translate cartoon theme songs in my head. So, like, Roberto Esponja. Roberto Esponja. Roberto Esponja. Except that's just SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I'm not doing SquarePants. Roberto Pantalones Square. I don't know Square. You know Square in Spanish?
No.
Another one I like to do is Scooby-Dooby-Doo, ¿Dónde estás? Tenemos algo trabajo a hacer ahora. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. ¿Dónde estás?
Wow. It's kind of a good skill.
Yeah, it's fun. I've been practicing more and more. Like, I was playing poker with my guys and some girls, and I would, like, only speak in Spanish, and it made it very hard. But,
yeah.
Because none of them spoke Spanish.
It's because they were listening.
Listening. Listening is something that our generation is bad at. Hot take. Hot scoop. Hot scoop or shot of poop. That's a segment on a podcast I listened to.
Hot scoop or shot of poop?
Yeah. They're talking about movies and, like, if they get some insider info on, like, some goings-on set of a movie. And, like, ooh, Matt Damon's gonna be in the Thor movie, which is one of the ones. And I was like, if this is a hot scoop, then nice. If it's not, then you have to drink a shot of poop.
Oh, God.
And it's...
A drink? Poop?
A
Is it
shot
diarrhea?
of poop. Yeah, I don't know. They've never drank a shot of poop. Still looking forward to that. But...
I have a question.
Yeah.
I may have asked you this before.
Go for it.
And it seems like it has nothing to do with what you just said, but, like, I connected a bunch of dots in my head, and now
I'm
here
with
we
you.
are. Would you rather be thing 1 or thing 2?
Thing 2.
Why?
I feel like there's more pressure on thing 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, people say, like, well, maybe, like, the 2 people I've asked this. I don't know how many times. But it's like, well, I want to be thing 1 because you're, like, you're the first. Or I want to be thing 1 because there's more pressure on thing 2 because thing 2 is, like, supposedly, like, the remake of thing 1 with, like, new and improved features. I don't think so.
I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's what the Cat in the Hat did.
I think it's like thing 1 is like the guy.
Yeah.
And then you have thing 2 who can just kind of dick around and maybe help thing 1 when it's an emergency.
Here's what I think. I think thing 1 and thing 2 are like are basically twins. They're made at the same time.
Yeah.
One was a little bit more pushy and like wanted to be the star. And so he's like, I'm going to be thing 1, okay? And you can't change my mind. And thing unnamed at this point was like, all right, I guess I'm thing 2, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, he just kind of like rolls with it.
Yeah.
Like, great, now I don't have to come up with a name now.
Yeah.
Because you're already thing 1. I'm not going to be Jeff. Thing 1 and Jeff. That would have been a good move on thing 2's part.
Yeah.
Just like naming himself a name instead of like thing 1.
That would have stuck it to thing 1.
Yeah.
Like, now you look like a fool.
Yeah. Could have called yourself anything.
Could have been Alessandro or something cool. Or Jeff. Jeff is cool.
Jeff. That's like my go-to name for just like, oh God, I gotta think of a name. Jeff. So when I have to come up with my own fake name for me, I won't have to look around the room for objects.
Sulu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. A little tie-in to earlier.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's always good.
I like a nice throwback.
Yeah.
My dad calls that a reset.
A reset?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Like, oh, a nice reset of that joke from 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, what? Where'd you get that word? Reset.
Today, my friend was messaging me, and he's like, I asked him how he was, and he was like, I'm good. Had a minor setback last night. And then I was like, oh, well, it's good that you're good, but don't let the setback become a holdback. And I felt like such a dad in that scenario.
I think that's a poet.
A poet? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
No, I like it, man. I'm also one that's very willing to just do, like, terrible puns or, like, wordplay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, I agree. I think there's... If it's fun for you, then go for it.
Yeah.
I like trying to find puns and connections and stuff, so I do it. Well, We got a few seconds left.
Wow. Well, there they go.
That was it. Let's play it out. Do you have any requests? I'm going to take a request on this organ sound. What you got?
Play the small intestine.
Hey.
Nice.
I call that small duodenum. Duodenum. You know what I'm trying to do?
Just shut
Duodenum is lower intestine and blue Danube. Wait, no, that's not even blue Danube. That's Rhapsody in Blue. Duodenum, smaller intestine in blue. Good night, everybody. All right, and we're back with another segment called Here We Go. It's picture time for Ross and Ryan.
Do you hear what I see?
There you go. All right. Here, I'm showing him the picture. Right, 3, 2, 1, now.
Oh my god. It's like a cartoon of a man doing the Slavic squat in only his underwear. But instead of a human head, it's a chicken or rooster head.
Yes.
And there's an egg between the being's feet. I think it's like he forgot his phone when he went to lay the egg.
Oh man, that's the worst.
Well, could it be a rooster if an egg is being laid?
Maybe that's why it looks so pensive.
Maybe the leg wasn't laid by this creature.
Mm.
It was just there.
And he's squatting over it to examine it?
Possibly.
The shadows indicate that it's like right under his cloaca.
Right under. Maybe it's like, honey, go guard the egg. And he's like, fine. And
Do you think he has a cloaca?
Now he's contemplating his marriage in
Dang.
this picture.
Yeah. He is holding his hand up to his chin like he's thinking. Or his gobbled neck thing. What is that called? A goozle?
Today in the shower, I thought of a horrible joke.
I'm ready.
It was, why are the Italians scared of the turkey?
I don't know.
Because it was a goblin.
Oh, no. The accent makes it everything. It was a goblin. I mean, I like it, but I can understand how it is a bad joke.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I would never say it on stage.
Yeah.
But just the people I know who appreciate jokes like that.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you for tuning in to Here We Go. Now it's picture time for Ross and Ryan. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
I think that was pretty close. All right, signing off.
Oh, whoops, I accidentally,
Oh, no, don't look at my other
scrolling.
pictures.